Hello, fellow group mates. I did my interview on my father. He is the 25th Infantry Division Deputy G2X and the Senior Human Intelligence Advisor for his division. He's also the soon-to-be G2's and Commanding General's advisor for all things human and counterintelligence related. Pretty much, the big words means that he leads a lot of stuff. My dad is a leader mainly because of his position. He advises on how to best employ the division's counterintelligence and human assets and capabilities in order to answer the commanding general's priority intelligence requirements, or PIR, dealing with issues at the tactical, operational, and strategic level, which is also just referred to as the national level. Some concepts I will be covering will be the Pygmalion effect, transformational leadership, as well as destructive leadership. So firstly, we'll be talking about the Pygmalion effect. The Pygmalion effect is defined as the psychological phenomenon in which high expectations lead to improved performance in a given area and low expectations lead to worse performance. Growing up, my dad was very different. He was an extreme troublemaker that people only expected more bad from. He even had people saying he would never have a future. Just that would hurt me. This proved the concept right until he met two female African American NCOs who actually had faith in him. It is easier to be what people think you are than to prove them wrong, and these two women were the start of my dad believing success was actually attainable. Because of these supervisors, it started a chain reaction of wanting to prove the doubters wrong. In the end, he became the biggest believer in himself, and in turn, a better leader. The next concept we'll be discussing in regards to my interview is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership inspires followers to strive beyond required expectations to work toward a shared vision. For this concept, my dad gives us a name, Chief Crampton. Stating that he had the biggest impact on his leadership style today, he mentions how he has attempted to master Chief Crampton's chameleon style of leadership. In other words, adaptive leadership. With the army pulling from all walks of life, he observed Chief Crampton using different styles of leadership to produce the most effective outcome among his subordinates. Not only did he have a fluid approach, he was also the spitting image of structure, with my dad never seeing his desk disorganized no matter how busy his day was. Along with showing the importance of being adaptive, he was also a prime example of why upholding a good image of a leader is crucial. Lastly, I would like to talk about destructive leadership. A destructive leader uses fear, threats, and violence in order to get the job done. My dad connected this concept to back when he was an infantryman, aka grunt. He stated that leadership in this field would heavily focus on negative consequences for noncompliance or asserting their positions of authority. In other words, the kind of leadership that does not require much, if any, feedback. He noted that while necessary in a combat environment due to needing to be able to execute orders rapidly, this type of leadership style should be used sparingly. For environments solely based upon positional power and predominantly coercive in nature tend to be toxic. He provided an example of a specific leader in his life who, he stated, was, and I quote, melanin adverse. He would call him names like boy and nappy, and because himself, as well as other junior enlisted around him, were experiencing the same treatment, they would purposely drop the ball on tasks. From this, he stated how he discovered the importance of building relationships of trust and mutual respect with his subordinates to form a cohesive team. Overall, this interview illustrates how much impact every leader we encounter in our life has upon us. To leave with some words of wisdom, he relates leadership to being a mechanic, stating an effective mechanic needs more than one tool in their toolbox, the same way a successful leader needs more than one style of leadership, highlighting how important it is to be an adaptive leader.